5-Round MMA.
A different view to MMA.
Gotta watch that.
Welcome everyone, this is 5
MMA,
Round
y'all.
MMA. My name is Alex Romero, alongside my in-studio co-host Albert Cita. And on the phone, the gang is back together. Guillermo Cita, where you at now this week? You're not in Orlando, where you at? In Texas?
Yeah, I'm in Texas this week, but
Wow.
I know you guys missed me.
I know. I think Albert was trying to avoid you because we had the Machida fight not that long ago, so he didn't want to.
It was a sensitive subject.
It was a sensitive. So let's record on a day when Guillermo's not available. That's what he said.
Yeah, there you go.
But ain't no running from him this time. This week we had a lot to talk about. More specifically, poor Luke Rockhold. He can't wear sunglasses indoors and not expect not to get knocked out. For all you guys who go clip him with sunglasses on there. Talk about the ramifications of what happened at UFC 221. Talk about the UFC scrambling to save UFC 222. And then maybe some Conor McGregor, Floyd Mayweather talk about as well. Sprinkle that in there. So let's get started round number one, gentlemen. UFC 221, main event. Pay-per-view worthy, I guess. Yoel Romero knocks out Luke Rockhold, I think, in the third round, I believe.
Yeah,
third round. Doesn't make weight before. Knocks out Luke Rockhold anyways. Now Dana White saying he will fight Robert Whittaker for the middleweight championship. Guillermo, are you okay with Yoel Romero getting a title shot without making weight? And kind of seeing, you know what, this is, you know... First off, I guess the reaction to him knocking out Luke Rockhold, and two, are you okay with him being the number one contender after missing weight by 2 pounds?
Yes and yes. I am impressed by Yoel Romero knocking out Luke Rockhold. I think everybody had Luke Rockhold winning that fight.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. So I am impressed by Yoel Romero, but we knew his power was legit. And I'm okay with him missing weight and still getting the title shot because besides him missing weight against Luke Rockhold, he's beat everybody else but Robert Whittaker. I mean, he's gone through the gauntlet regardless, you know, and he only missed weight by 2 pounds. I understand that 2 pounds is, 2 pounds, and he didn't, he wasn't professional enough to get the weight cut. But nonetheless, I mean, he proved out there that, he is the number one contender in this weight class.
So, Albert, what do you think? I guess your reaction to Yoel Romero knocked out Luke Rockhold, and then two, are you okay with him being the number one contender now after missing weight?
I mean, I guess I have to be okay. It's one of those things that, he won, so I gotta give it to him. But I just don't like the way he won.
Yeah.
And the fact that he missed weight, the fact that Luke Rockhold was outstriking him the whole time, showing that clearly that he was the better fighter, and pretty much Yoel Romero just waiting to just go berserk and land that big punch.
For the one punch.
And I don't know, I even though I like the knockouts and I like a guy that just goes to scrap, that left a bad taste in my mouth.
I know one person who, Guillermo, who was like super kind of opinionated about it was Chris Weidman, who said, hey, okay, well, where does that leave me at now? It's kind of like I'm the odd man out, even though he did lose to Yoel Romero.
The odd man out.
So, yeah, I guess I think what really rubbed people the wrong way was the fact that Dana White was he's facing Robert Whittaker next at the post-fight press conference or post-fight scrum. Yeah, he's next in line. No punishment at all for kind of coming in overweight. But let's go with Luke Rockhold now. This is a guy who's kind of have a surprising loss to Michael Bisping to lose his title. Kind of comes back, beats David Branch, does what he's supposed to do, David Branch. Loses surprisingly to Yoel Romero. Where does he go down here? Does he stay at middleweight? Because he has a long road ahead of him, right? If he wants to come back, he got like Jacques Ray in front of him, Kevin Gastelum. Maybe face Chris Weidman again if he wants to even sniff a title shot. Or is he better off maybe going up to 205 and getting at least a number one contender or a title shot there? Again, what do you think?
You know what? I think he stayed at middleweight. I think it's proven, especially given what happened last weekend, that if a middleweight can do that to him, imagine a light heavyweight. They only get stronger from there. I mean, no disrespect to Luke Rockhold, because obviously the skill level is there. I mean, you see it in the embedded videos. You see it during his fights. He technique-wise, his kicks, all that is gravy, dude. But one good punch KOs him. I mean, Michael Bisping was able to KO him. Yoel Romero obviously KO'd him. Basically, it took 2 shots, basically. One to knock him on the ground and one to, destroy him. And I just think the road is harder if he goes up to light heavyweight. So I don't think that's the best bet for him. I think at middleweight, he still has some potential people he can face off, headline fight lines and stuff like that. Maybe he's in the running for another title shot in the near future. But yeah, does that put him in the bottom of the middleweight division, or kind of like the gatekeeper, of course. But isn't Chris Weidman in that at that point too?
Hey, Albert, how do you think the fans view Luke Rockhold? Former champion, but is he getting the respect he deserves? I mean, people kind of make fun of him for being a pretty boy. They don't like his attitude. I mean, granted, he does come across as kind of a dick sometimes. Yeah. Is this kind of him giving out the persona of being too good for everybody?
Yeah, I think he lost a lot of fans with the Yoel Romero loss.
Yeah.
I think he had a lot of fans, but to me, I'm more worried that he's 33 years old. And it looks like he lost his chin. So
yeah.
I'm more worried about that than anything. Screw the fans. I think the guy doesn't have a chin anymore.
Yeah. I mean, when Michael Bisping's knocking you out, you got something to worry about.
I was going to say, forget all that. Yes, he probably lost his chin. What he really needs to go is go train with, or really take the advice
Andre
of
Arlovsky.
And Daniel Cormier is, there's other aspects he can do so he doesn't get punched in the face. I mean, come on. I mean, the skill level's there. I mean, it's sad that, just one shot, and we're questioning his shin. But, I mean, there's other ways he could probably advance or still be a threat in the middleweight division. He just needs to have a better game plan, I guess.
Yeah. Maybe he's still heartbroken by Demi Lovato. I don't know. I'd be heartbroken, too, if she dumped me. Or he dumped her. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think, Albert?
I like to think the latter of the latter on that.
That's it for round number one. We're going to come back and talk about the UFC salvaging the do. Welcome back. Time for round number two. So after it was announced that Max Holloway was out due to injury and forcing the UFC 222 main event to be scrapped. Frank Yeager was another opponent. There was a rumor that Cody Garbrandt was going to face TJ Dillashaw as a throw in there, but TJ Dillashaw said no, that's not going to happen. Then there was Cody Garbrandt saying I'll fight anywhere, maybe a super fight with Frankie Edgar. All this rumor going around, and then all of a sudden this week it was announced that we get Cyborg is going to face the current Invicta bantamweight champion,
new company woman.
Yeah, Yana. I'm going to butcher her name, but champion Yana, the current bantamweight champion, and also in the co-main event, Frankie Yeager is going to take on Brian Ortega. Guillermo, how do you like this UFC 222 facelift, and does it interest you in maybe purchasing the pay-per-view?
Heck no. This is probably one of the worst cards ever assembled, and I've told you guys from day one. No disrespect to Brian Ortega, but he's not a seller. I mean, I've told you guys that his name is not a fan recognizable name. Like, Brian Ortega is all of a sudden main eventing UFC 222.
Well,
no, it's
co-main event now.
Yeah, but the whole.
He's on the poster. He's not poster worthy. You're saying?
Well, the thing is, it was going to be a UFC fight night, if you guys remember, and then
yeah.
You can't find a main event worthy of this card. This will go into the UFC fight night, and right away they were able to book Cyborg. It's to me, it's astonishing that you go from Max Holloway, Frankie Edgar to now, hey, your golden boy for Albert and Alex, Brian Ortega.
Yes.
Gets co-main evented just to salvage the pay-per-view. I mean. That's one. Second of all, I told you guys about Chris Cyborg. I was like, there's really nothing out there for her except for super fights. And then you guys were like, no, don't put her against Amanda Nunes. Blah, blah,
well, this
blah.
is
That
before.
sounds nothing like me.
Hey,
Sounds like
but
Albert.
this is what you guys get. This is exactly, Dana White was probably listening to Albert and Alex and look at, we probably have the worst card ever assembled.
For a pay-per-view.
Pay-per-view.
Well, I'm sure you didn't see UFC 221. Albert, okay, so real quick about that. You said company woman for Cyborg. Yeah. She's stepping in, but a big but. She's facing the current bantamweight champion Yana Kuncincana. I don't even know. I'm gonna butcher her name. Our former guest, good friend of the show, Amber LeBrock, who's a Bellator featherweight. One of the top, probably the top prospects in the women's featherweight division, called her out. UFC, hey, this is another one. UFC kind of a bogus matchup. They're feeding Cyborg. They're not even bothering developing the featherweight division. They're just throwing her bantamweights again. What do you say to that? I mean, just kind of to salvage the pay-per-view. Cyborg's the attraction.
Cyborg scratches their back.
Yeah.
They scratch Cyborg's back. Where I pretty much in the talks. I don't care what Dana White tries to spin it. I bet you anything. Cyborg was, look, I'll take a fight in short notice, but it's going to have to be to my advantage. And I think
it's going to be a bantamweight.
This is a good advantage, especially after the war she went through with Holly Holm.
Yeah.
I do still think that Holly Holm won that fight. But with that said, I think it's one of those. She was the first. She stepped up, and it was the only fair way to reward her for that.
Gary, what do you think about that?
I think Albert's a joke. I did not watch the fight. First of all, Chris Cyborg is women's MMA right now. She's the only existing in the women's division that can garner that type of following. Because even if you look at Joanna Jay, she just lost the belt and with Amanda Nunes.
Nutrition problems.
Yeah, well, you got Rose and you got Amanda Nunes that. Let's look at Rose first. She's co-main eventing that pay-per-view coming up. I forgot who else is in that main event.
Kahib and Tony Ferguson.
But you group them both together, shows you that Rose is not the star power that Joanna Jay was, and the same thing with Amanda Nunes. I mean, we don't even know who she's facing currently. I mean, at least I don't.
Yeah.
But you remember the days where Ronda Rousey would lead a pay-per-view card all by herself, and now they had all these potential matchups and so forth, and now it's just Chris Cyborg all alone at the top.
Yeah, but they're making it that way though. UFC's making it that way.
But what Guillermo's getting wrong is just because she mains event doesn't mean she's a go-to person to watch. Because let's see the pay-per-view numbers before we start talking. I really do think these pay-per-view numbers are going to be low because I don't think Cyborg is a draw. And before Guillermo talk smack with my boy Brian Ortega again, the belt's not on the line. So you know that's always a difficult sell for a pay-per-view when the belt's not on the line. And I agree, Brian Ortega hasn't been active in the last 2 years enough for people outside the hardcore MMA community to care about Brian Ortega. I'll give you that point.
Dana White throws out interim belts like if they were candy, bro.
Well, if you listen to the last podcast, we said that.
Just so you guys know, I'm fighting for interim belt, by the way, coming in the summertime, so that's kind of cool. But yeah, I also think, Brian Ortega has a bright future. I think they're burning a main event here, Edgar versus Ortega, just to salvage his pay-per-view. I mean, yeah.
They should have put a belt on the line.
Or something, because Max Holloway posted a photo of him in a cast, in a walking boot. So who knows how long he's going to be out. I mean, might as well do another interim belt. Who cares, man? Keep handing them out. Might as well do a ladder match next time. Who cares? Anyway, so we'll see. I mean, I have a problem with a Cyborg facing bantamweights, and I have a problem with them burning this future main event just to salvage a pay-per-view that could have easily been a fight night. That's it for round number 2. We're going to come back and talk about Floyd Mayweather. I want to get Guillermo's opinion on this Floyd Mayweather photoshopping himself into MMA cages and elbowing Conor McGregor, so don't go anywhere. Welcome back. Let's enter the championship round. Shout out to our good friend Jason Hendricks of the Dose Leprechauns podcast. Check out the Dose Leprechauns podcast on all forms of social media. It's a podcast with him, Leprechaun Nate, and Leprechaun Jason. Cover everything from Notre Dame football, professional wrestling, mixed martial arts, all things sports and pop culture. Dose Leprechauns podcast. Follow them Instagram, Twitter, like him on Facebook. Reason why, because he remember he sent this link, was it last week, Nate Diaz getting a title shot on our group chat, and when I clicked on it, I read the article, and it said that it was going to be against Tyron Woodley, and my interest went from high to low very quickly because I thought to myself, come on, Tyron Woodley. Is this really going to happen? Guillermo, excitement for Nate Diaz possibly coming back to face Tyron Woodley in a welterweight title fight.
This is probably the best matchup that can be announced.
Oh, my God.
A recent history of matchmaking.
Yeah.
Because there's nobody in the welterweight division that I'm excited for, and I know Nate Diaz is actually going to scrap. I mean, like, at least I'm not going to get Damian Maia and drop to the floor and wait for Tyron Woodley to jump on top of him, which you never did.
What about Stephen Thompson, the karate expert? And
Stephen Wonderboy Thompson already got beat twice. Two boring fests.
That's arguable.
Yeah, and a snore fest. I took bathroom breaks in between that fight. But now, at least Nate Diaz, I know he's going to bring it. I know there's going to be blood involved. I know it's going to be a fight. So there's not, whether you guys agree or not, I think this is the best matchup in welterweight, whether Nate Diaz has been active or not.
Yeah, I think it's just like, come on, Tyron Woodley. Like, if he would have spent so much time complaining and begging for super fights, he would have defended his title like 15 times by now. And it's like, come on, man. It's like just, it's almost like Could be so desperate, man. You know what I mean? I don't know. Just it's like, man, just kind of can you like just get that way? Can you maybe defend your title against the top contender in your division, and then we'll see. Like then we go to the super fights. But man, like since day one he won it. He did not want to fight anybody in his division at all. Albert, like one guy that comes to mind is Rafael dos Anjos, who's been very vocal about this, saying, "Hey, what about me?" What are your thoughts about this whole Nate Diaz possibly coming back in the title shot right away against Tyron Woodley?
I'll believe it when I see it, but I will say this too. Tyron Woodley seriously needs to get off his high horse, because never, ever have I heard anybody. I'm talking about jabronis I meet in the street, when we go to amateur cage fights, whatever. I have never in my life ever heard someone tell me, damn, I can't wait to see Tyron Woodley again. Yeah. Damn, was that a good Tyron Woodley fight? Damn, Tyron Woodley knows how to scrap.
And you know a lot of jabronis too.
Yeah, I'm a king of jabronis. But I have never heard anybody in my life say they want to see Tyron Woodley fight. Yeah. So for him to think that it's just about hitting just about hitting up Twitter and calling a bunch of random people that doesn't matter out. Yeah. I think he's going about it the wrong way. Like you said, he could have defended his title 5 times already. And honestly, that's what it goes back to my original argument with Conor McGregor. Everyone wants to say Conor McGregor's all talk, blah 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 blah. But guess what? He stepped up every single time. He fought multiple people, and he was exciting.
Let's look at you guys have Wikipedia in front of you guys. I don't.
Yes.
Woodley, how many times did he fight in 2017? If I recollect correctly, 2 to 3 times in 2017, and in 2016 probably the same amount, 2 to 3 times. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
He almost lost twice.
It doesn't matter. You talked about his.
One was a snore fest.
But you talked about his activity, and he has been defending the belt. It just so happens that people like Albert, morons, that wanted to see Stephen Wonderboy Thompson versus Tyron Woodley 2, got the opportunity to see that, and then that was back to back. I mean, come on, guys. And then he goes from those 2 fights to Damian Maia. I mean, like, give the guy, if you really look at it, that's three times he defended the belt. He has been active. He has been champion for 3 times. It's not his fault that morons like Albert want to see repeated matchups. But at the same time, out of who's left? I mean, you have Rafael dos Anjos and you have Nate Diaz that has been inactive. But who else? Name another fighter, Albert, in the welterweight division worth your $60.
Kevin Gastelum.
Kobe. Whatever.
Who's your boy, Guillermo?
Mike Perry, but he lost.
Mike Perry.
But Mike Perry just recently lost.
It's just because
you also got Usman.
Yeah,
Usman, come on.
It's just like, for me, like, this guy is on every panel for UFC Fight Night, and he's there like, just desperately calling out people. I mean, he's saying he's going to move up.
Let me help you guys out. Robbie Lawler, you all right?
Well, he beat Robbie Lawler. But, like, he's calling people out, ignoring them. Like, remember when GSP beat Michael Bisping? He said he's moving up to welterweight. Chris Weidman just laughed right in his face, basically saying, calm down, bro. And he just sounds so desperate and so, like, nerdy.
Why don't you guys understand? I mean, I'm all Tyron Woodley because I totally understand where he's coming from. The welterweight division has stalled. There is no star rising. You guys can talk Kobe Covington all you guys want, but this guy's a douchebag, just like Mike Perry's a douchebag.
But then
there's nobody in the welterweight division.
Then you make it great. Then look at Anderson Silva did the middleweight division. Make that belt great again. It's on you, bro. Go in there, and if these guys are all beneath you.
The belt in the middleweight division wasn't great until Anderson Silva left.
Nah, that's false.
I mean,
false. Let's round up.
If they're so beneath you, Tyler, knock them all out then. Anyways, that's it for round number 4. We got one more round coming up. Don't go anywhere. Oh, yeah. Welcome back, 5th and final round, UFC Fight Night Cowboy versus Mederos. This actually says UFC Fight Night Cowboy, not Cerrone. It's Cowboy versus Mederos. Wow. Takes place Sunday, February 18th, because was it Monday's President's Day, so national holiday here in America. Everybody has Monday off, so the UFC thought they would reward us to not watch this, actually. Donald Cerrone versus Yancy Mederos, Derek Lewis versus Marcin Tybura, James Vick is on here, Thiago Alves, Sage Northcutt's on the main card against as well. This is a kind of a, I'm on this MMA podcast, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm gonna be flipping back and forth between something else. I don't know. I mean, if I'm watching this, I guess I don't know. I guess somebody watching it. You interested in this card?
I'm slightly interested.
I'm gonna watch it because I have to watch it, but
it feels.
I'm not gonna enjoy it.
You know what it feels like to me? Like Donald Cerrone's farewell tour.
Yeah.
Where they're gonna put him. Where obviously he's gonna be a fan favorite.
It's in Austin, Texas.
Because it's in Texas, and everybody knows they're gonna cheer from there.
Cowboys are pretty big in Texas, I heard.
Yep. And then it's on the holiday, so I mean. It feels like a farewell tour to me for the Cabo Cerrone. I really do think he has 2 fights in him the most. And what's weird about it is I think his opponent has everything to gain and is currently on a good streak. So I don't know why he isn't being promoted better too.
Guillermo, thoughts on this card as a whole?
I was gonna say this card is actually a little bit more intriguing than the pay-per-view.
Wow. Actually, that's a good point. Yeah, it is.
And this is my point is, I'm okay with Cowboy Cerrone being on the headlines, the posters, that it's in Texas and everything like that. But the real coming out party is for Mederos. I mean, you just said it right now. He's on a killer win streak. What better way to really elevate his superstardom or get to that point where he's a legitimate contender at this weight class? Because we saw his last fight was pretty amazing. And now against Cowboy Cerrone, and with all the lights on Cowboy Cerrone, the pressure's off Mederos, but maybe he can gain more audience, gain more fans by beating the hometown boy. I mean, like, especially given how Mederos' last couple fights, they've been very, very scrappy. If he brings out, Cowboy Cerrone is down to fight. So I think for anything, this has nothing to do with Cowboy. It has everything to do with Mederos. And then
they don't show it that way when it's supposed to be like that.
Yeah, I know. What's really cool about the co-main event, obviously Derek Lewis, Houston's own Derek Lewis. This card is taking place in Austin, Texas. But if you guys watch if you guys look at the poster, you got Cowboy Cerrone obviously with the American flag draped over his shoulder, and also Derek Lewis, the biggest patriot I know, who's just day one has been chanting USA, USA with the American flag over his shoulder as well. I like how the UFC is kind of like, that's a UFC kind of,
yeah.
That's everybody's go-to, right?
Oh, they're playing into it, which I don't mind.
Drape American flag. We'll just Photoshop the American flag over his shoulder to get some bumps there and then to get the likes there. Yeah, this card is interesting, I guess. I'm also going to watch it. Real quick news, guys, about this. You guys hear this Brock Lesnar rumor going around that I guess he's done with WWE after WrestleMania 34? 34, right? He's
going to go with the UFC?
Yeah, he's going to dive back into the UFC. This one final run in the UFC. I keep hearing, again, if you're a wrestling fan out there, every report says rumors surface that nobody ever cites anything in wrestling. So the rumors are rampant that Brock Lesnar is gonna leave WWE. What do you think about that? Possible certain chance it's gonna happen.
I think so. I think Brock's an interesting character where I think he always felt like he was kind of cheated off of his title with his whole MMA career.
Yeah.
Because of
diverticulitis.
Yeah, going through it twice. And then he comes back, dominates Mark Hunt. Yeah, sure, he fails the test. But I think he knows deep down inside, even if he didn't have whatever he had, the wrestling skills were still there. And I think it's just one of those things that stay in the back of his head. Like, I got cheated. I came back. I won. Sure, I got disqualification, or not disqualification, but no contest.
Run it back, is that what you're saying?
But I'm saying, but it was the wrestling that won that fight, and I can see him being a lot heavyweight, so I don't see why not. I think he's still young enough to compete, and you better get out of your system now, or else you're going to be looking like CM Punk.
Yeah, what do you think of Guillermo? What are the chances of Brock coming back?
Did this guy not get any punishment for being on illegal drugs while fighting Mark Hunt?
I think
no, because he saved that card.
No, I think he's currently serving a suspension right now, 2-year suspension.
Yeah, it was a 2-year suspension.
That's baloney. So, hey, I'm going to still continue my WWE run until I'm cleared of my suspension in UFC. Yep. But
shit all happens so good.
But straight to the point is Brock Lesnar can come back to the UFC just to get knocked the heck out because whoa. All will still destroy him. Cain Velasquez will destroy this guy.
Obviously, so you didn't see him destroy 2 monsters.
Or do you think?
In the Royal Rumble.
Do you think maybe he saw the game plan how to beat Francis Ngannou and would just get him?
That's true too, Guillermo. You don't need to get punched in the face if you wrestle a guy down.
Miocic, even when the tired Nagano was still has power punches that were rocking Stipe Miocic toward the end of the fight. And so Junior Dos Santos has the same capabilities, and he still never beat Cain Velasquez. So, I mean, like, you still have those three different opponents just to get to the top.
I'd still say wrestling can beat both of them.
All I know, if I'm Stipe or if I'm DC, after that fight, whoever wins, I'm calling out Brock Lesnar because that's some big money fight there.
That's money.
That's it for this show. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I want to thank Guillermo Cena for getting back. The crew's back together. The club is back together. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Guillermo, you're a Bullet Club fan, right?
No.
How about a Balor Club fan?
Nope, even
money.
worse.
Balor
the Elite?
Money.
The Elite, maybe? The Elite?
No, Balor sucks. The Elite, no.
The Girls of Destiny?
So it sounds to me like Guillermo is a rival fan.
A revival? Yeah.
Revival.
Make sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at FiveRoundMMA. Like us on Facebook. Subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Podomatic, and YouTube. Visit FiveRoundMMA.com. Big shout out to our great friends over at FightBookMMA.com, your number one news source for all things combat sports book market. Make it your go-to for all things combat sports news related. That's FightBookMMA.com. A good shout out to our friends Dos Africans Podcast, 5 Rounds Clothing Line, Girl Gang Wraps, hand wraps, Dioxyme, supplements, Mobilitas mobility tools, all of our great sponsors. Albert, what do you got?
I just want to say sorry for all the technical difficulties we had today. I know you guys are going to hear it through the podcast. I'm a video guy, not an audio guy. So at least it looks good, right?
It's not simple, just plug and play, guys. Guillermo.
Wow, like on cue, Guillermo gets cut off. Sorry, guys. I'm pretty sure he said thanks for listening.
Can't wait for Dean Ambrose to make his return. Oh yeah, the cream of the crop.
Thanks for tuning in.